Welcome to the world of personal development. Most of us have been taught that discipline is the golden ticket to success. But what if I told you that relying too much on discipline could actually hold you back? Shocking, right? Research shows that nearly 40% of people fail to stick to their New Year's resolutions, and discipline is often at the center of this struggle. Here's another surprising fact. A study from the University of Southern California found that willpower is like a battery. It runs low, especially when you push it too hard. So, why do we keep believing that discipline is the key to achieving our goals? It's time to rethink this idea. In this video, we'll explore why discipline might be overrated in personal development. You'll discover how energy management can lead to better results and why understanding your why can ignite true motivation. We'll also look at how redefining success beyond hustle culture can transform your approach to growth. Ready to challenge the old rules and find a path that feels right for you? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The myth of endless willpower. For years, people have been told that discipline is the ultimate key to personal development. If you just push hard enough, you'll reach your goals, right? Well, that's not always true. Relying too much on discipline and willpower can actually backfire. Studies show that willpower is like a muscle, it gets tired the more you use it. In fact, a 2011 study from Baumeister and colleagues found that willpower depletion, or ego depletion, occurs after repeated acts of self-control. So, what happens when your willpower runs out? You stop. Here's the thing. Relying solely on discipline puts too much pressure on yourself. You might burn out or quit altogether. Instead of focusing on pure grit, it's better to explore what drives you naturally. Remember, even the most disciplined people hit a wall when motivation is missing. According to James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This means the systems you create, like habits or routines, matter more than simply forcing yourself to stick to a plan. Instead of relying on willpower alone, find what truly excites you. When you're passionate about something, discipline feels less like a chore and more like momentum. Steve Jobs once said, "The only way to do great work is to love what you do." This approach, where passion meets purpose, helps you achieve more in the long run, even when willpower fades. Chapter 2. Flow over force. The power of effortless progress. Think about the last time you got lost in an activity, when time seemed to fly by without much effort. That's called being in the flow, and it's more powerful than any form of discipline. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi coined the term flow, and found that people are happiest and most productive when they're in this state. Flow happens when you're fully immersed in something you enjoy. It's when work doesn't feel like work at all. Instead of forcing yourself into routines you hate, find activities that naturally pull you in. When you're in the flow, you don't need to push yourself with sheer willpower. In fact, a study published in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that people in a flow state are 500% more productive than those operating with discipline alone. That's a massive boost. To reach a flow state more often, tweak your environment and tasks to align with your strengths and passions. Try breaking larger tasks into smaller, enjoyable ones. This keeps you engaged and helps you reach peak performance without constant effort. And remember, chasing flow doesn't mean avoiding hard work. It just means shifting your focus from force to ease. As Bruce Lee said, be like water making its way through cracks. Adjust to the object, and you shall find a way around or through it. Chapter 3. Habit mastery versus habit slavery. Habits are the backbone of personal development, but there's a huge difference between mastering habits and being a slave to them. Mastering habits means creating systems that work for you naturally. Habit slavery, on the other hand, is sticking to routines out of guilt or pressure, even when they're no longer effective. A lot of people set rigid habits because they think that's what discipline is. But when a habit feels forced, it can quickly become a burden. According to B.J. Fogg, a behavioral scientist at Stanford University, tiny habits are the key to sustainable change. Fogg's research suggests that starting with small, easy-to-do habits, like flossing one tooth, can build lasting momentum without the need for discipline. The secret is that these habits become automatic, reducing the need for constant willpower. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. every day to be successful. In fact, Studies show that our productivity peaks at different times, depending on our chronotype. Some people are naturally more alert in the morning, while others are night owls. So, instead of forcing yourself into someone else's rigid habits, design routines that match your energy patterns. The American Psychological Association reports that around 40% of our daily actions are driven by habits, not conscious decisions. Master your habits by making them work for you, not the other way around. To avoid becoming a slave to habits, stay flexible. It's okay to skip or adjust routines based on your needs. This way, habits serve as tools for growth rather than chains holding you back. As Seth Godin said, the only thing worse than a bad habit is a bad habit masquerading as a good one. If you're finding this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more insights on personal development. Chapter 4. Sustainable Success. Rethinking discipline as energy management. Let's talk about energy. Most people think discipline is about forcing yourself to work harder. But what if success is really about managing your energy? Studies show that your energy levels fluctuate throughout the day, and working with these natural cycles can be far more effective than grinding through fatigue. According to Daniel Pink, author of When: The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing, people have natural peaks and troughs in their energy. For most, the morning is when they are most focused, but for night owls, the reverse might be true. The idea isn't to push through your low points but to adjust your tasks based on your energy levels. When you're tired, doing creative work or making important decisions becomes harder. That's why Pink recommends doing more challenging tasks during your peak energy hours and reserving routine work for your energy dips. When you manage your energy instead of forcing discipline, you create a rhythm that feels natural and sustainable. Tony Schwartz, author of The Power of Full Engagement, emphasizes that energy, not time, is the key to high performance. He explains that people who manage their energy well outperform those who rely on constant effort. This might mean taking breaks, getting enough sleep, or even changing your diet to match your energy needs. In fact, a study by the Harvard Business Review found that taking regular breaks increases productivity by 30%. So, instead of muscling through work all day, taking a few short breaks can actually make you more efficient. Focus less on forcing discipline and more on understanding your energy cycles. In the long run, you'll achieve more without feeling burnt out. Chapter 5. The Motivation Matrix. Finding your personal why. Discipline often fails because it lacks a deep connection to what truly motivates you. When you don't have a compelling reason for doing something, no amount of discipline will keep you on track. But when you tap into your core motivations, things start to flow. Simon Sinek, in his book Start With Why, says, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." The same goes for personal development. When you know your why, your motivation becomes intrinsic. It's no longer about forcing yourself, it's about being driven from within. Let's look at the science. Researchers at the University of Rochester found that people who pursue goals connected to their intrinsic values are happier and more successful than those driven by external factors. When your goals align with your deeper values, they become easier to follow through on, even when things get tough. Discipline becomes less necessary because you're naturally motivated. So how do you find your why? Start by asking yourself why you want to achieve your goal, then ask, why, again. Keep digging deeper until you find a reason that feels emotionally significant. For example, if you want to get fit, ask yourself why. Is it to feel better, look better, or live longer for your kids? Once you discover your deeper reason, your motivation will come from a place of purpose, not pressure. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, also talks about the power of identity-based goals. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, focus on who you want to become. This shift in mindset makes it easier to stay motivated without relying on discipline. If you identify as a healthy person, exercising becomes part of who you are, not just something you have to force yourself to do. If you enjoyed this content and want to learn more about personal development, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Your journey toward a more fulfilling life starts now.